Okay, it looks like we are going.
We're live.
I think we are live.
Okay. All right. Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the City of Riverside Planning Commission meeting for Wednesday, February 27th, 2024. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Denning,
Here.
Mr. Hairston,
Present.
Mr. Owens,
Here.
Mr. Rogers,
Here.
Mr. Vasquez.
Here.
Awesome. Okay, so the first thing on our agenda, since we did not have a need for a meeting in January, is election of officers. So at this time, are there any nominations for chairperson?
I'll nominate Julie Denning as chair.
I second that.
Thank you. Any other nominations? Seeing none, the chair would entertain a motion to appoint Julie Denning as chair for 2024.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Julie Denning as chairperson for 2024. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Denning,
I will abstain.
Mr. Rogers,
Yes.
Mr. Hairston,
Yes.
Mr. Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez.
Yes.
Thank you, y'all. And now I'd like to open the floor for nominations for vice president. I'd like to nominate Mr. Rogers.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other, we have a nomination for Mr. Rogers for vice president. Is there any other nominations at this time? Seeing none, the chair would entertain a motion to appoint Mr. Rogers as vice chair of the Planning Commission for 2024.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Mr. Rogers as vice chair for 2024, the Planning Commission. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Vasquez,
Yes.
Mr. Hairston,
Yes.
Mr. Owens,
Yes.
Mr. Rogers,
Abstain.
Mrs. Denning.
Yes. All right. Welcome, Mr. Rogers, to
Thank you.
vice chair.
Full circle.
Full circle. And thank you all for your confidence in appointing me again. I do enjoy it. I love working with the staff and you guys. Okay, approval of the agenda.
I would like to amend the agenda
Yes,
to
ma'am.
remove the zoning administrator discussion topic since she is not here. And she will go over the annual report at your next meeting.
Okay,
So that's the only amendment I have.
okay. Is there any other amendments, additions, or deletions? Seeing none, the chair would entertain a motion to approve as amended with removing number 8, zoning administrator discussions, and 8A, annual report.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as amended with removing number 8 and 8A. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, moving on to minutes. This would be the approval of the November 20th, 2023 meeting minutes that were in your packet. At this time, we would entertain a motion to approve those as published unless there is additions or deletions. Do I have a motion?
I'll have a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to approve the November 20th, 2023 meeting minutes as presented. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right. So this is a reminder for our public hearings. We do have 2 of them on the agenda tonight. We'd like to remind you that if you would like to speak tonight during the public hearing, There are forms on the back counter. It's the half-page form. You must fill that form out, present it to the clerk over here. She will pass it down, and you will be called upon during the issue that you'd wish to speak. When you come to the podium, you will lower the mic for your height. You will start with stating your name and your address, and then you will read the oath. Is it on the podium?
there.
It's on the podium for you. You'll have to read that oath before you start speaking on the topic at hand. And please remember, we're here, we're all here for the betterment of our city. And let's make sure that we are remembering to be kind as we proceed with this meeting. All right, so at this time, I'd like to open the public hearing for PC case number 24-0001. This is a waiver for 2301 Brant Pike, partial ID number I390052000002. This is a waiver to allow the combined accessory structures footprint to exceed that of the principal structure. At this time, do you have any notes from staff?
Yes, give me just a second here. I pulled up the second one and not the first one. Okay. There it is. All right. Okay, see that. All right, this is a request for a waiver to allow the combined accessory structures footprint to exceed that of the principal structure. Oh, you want me to take the oath? I can do that. I, Katie Llewellyn, affirm that the testimony I'm about to give before the Planning Commission is correct to the best of my knowledge.
Katie is, we just want to also let
Yes.
everyone know, Katie is our clerk of courts. She is filling
Counsel.
in, a counsel.
Yes.
I just gave you a promotion that we don't even have a court system.
Big promotion.
Yeah.
I don't know
Sorry,
how
it's been a
big
long
that
day.
is.
And she is filling in for Miss Holt, who is sick tonight. So she will do the best she can to present the report. We have all had the report, though, for a while to look over. And we do have our legal counsel here if we have any questions.
Yes. Okay. All right, so the subject site here is located on the southwest corner of Brant Pike and Schwinn Drive. Its project address is 2801 Brant Pike, and this is the aerial map. See that? And right there. And there's another look.
And this is off of the county website, correct?
Yep. The applicant is proposing to construct a 3,000 square foot accessory structure storage building on the northwest side of the property. The Riverside codified ordinances require the footprint of accessory structures to be smaller than the principal structure. This ensures that the accessory structure is incidental to the principal structure and creates a more consistent neighborhood character. And that's why this waiver is coming to you this evening. All right. This is the front elevation. These are the site photos. This is the front of the subject site across Brant Pike. Adjacent property across Schwinn Drive. And the location of the proposed accessory structure. View from Brant. And the waiver area from Brant. And the view of Schwinn Drive. Staff finds that the requested waiver is adequately justified and does meet the standards for approval. Staff recommends approval because the proposed waiver will not have adverse effects on adjacent property owners, and it will assist the applicant in complying with other UDO standards. The applicant is proposing also to set the structure 10 feet further back from Schwinn than the minimum standard and screen it with vegetation. The required actions for a waiver: you can approve the request as presented, approve with conditions, deny the request, or table case to a date certain.
Is that all, Madam?
That is all I have, yes.
Okay. Are there any slips turned in for this property?
Not for this property, no.
Okay. I'd like to ask if the applicant has anything they'd like to present. You may come forward and present at this time.
You don't,
My name is Odir Diaz.
If you'll step to the podium, please, sir.
Yes. Well, I never did this before, so
You're fine, we'll walk you through it. Just step to the podium, pull the mic down so that it's in front of you, because we do record all of this.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you'll state your name, your address, and then take the oath that's on the podium for us, please.
Okay, well, my name is Odir Diaz. My address is 2801 Brent Pike, here in Dayton. I don't even know the zip over there. What else? What
Can
else,
you
ma'am?
read the oath? Do you see a piece of paper there?
yep.
All testimony before the convention, and I'm sorry, my language,
You're
English is my
fine.
second
Just
language.
do
So
the
I'm
best
gonna
you
do the
can.
best I can, okay?
Yes, please.
You must raise your right hand, okay? And read the following oath. Please state your name. My name is Odir Diaz. What else you want me to say again?
Rest of that
Just
that's
read
on
the
the.
rest of it.
Confirm that the testimony I am about to give before the planning commission is correct, the best of my knowledge.
There you go. Go
Anything
ahead,
else?
tell us what you'd like for us to know about your property.
Well, first, I mean, it's very simple. I purchased this property. I think it was my dream. I coming from different, I always say different planet, right? I was born and raised in a farm over there in Costa Rica. And when I came to this beautiful nation, I've been working for the last 26 years. I think I try to do the right thing. God let me put this beautiful land in our property, and our goal between me and my wife, Jessie, is to make this property look super nice and always keep it like the way it is, a farm, you know, with a lot of trees around. I love trees. I don't want to see any houses over there. And I hope, you guys, I say, give me the chance to let me put this, I think, beautiful barn over there in that corner. We've been having a lot of, we put couple containers that I'm not happy with over there. I don't really like how it look like. It's because, we've been having some people like try to steal things in our backyard, and that's the reason we got very expensive equipment over there, like machines, bobcat, backhoe. Some of our kids' toys is back there, by the way. So that's the reason we want to, we ready to move with our kids by the end of this year, as soon as the house is done. And we just want to protect our stuff over there in that property. That is the only reason we want to build this barn, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, just hold on a minute. Commissioners, any questions for staff or for the applicant at this time? No? All right. Thank
Well-
you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay. So I will, go ahead. I will close the public hearing at this time, and I will ask commissioners for any comments or discussion on this matter before us.
No?
Okay, so now the question before us is, of course, our required actions. As you read, there are some minor conditions here, and pretty standard for what NIA has been doing. And we just have to decide what we would like to see happen here. Well, I'd like to make a motion to approve PC case 240001. This is the Brant Pike accessory structure waiver. That's my motion. Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve PC case 240001. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mrs. Denning?
Yes.
Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Mr. Hairston?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Motion carries. Sir, it has been approved. Please get with Ms. Holt about the conditions when she returns from her illness and your next steps. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, you're welcome to stay or leave, whichever you'd prefer. I'm sorry.
I just wanted you to know I wasn't
Okay.
doing anything.
Do you have an extra agenda? We normally have one.
They would be up there, yeah.
They're back on the dais.
I'll be okay. We only got one more case, right?
Yeah. All right, so now we're moving on, and I will open the public hearing for PC case 240002. This is a conditional use for 4766 Airway Road. This is partial ID I390001230028. This is a conditional use application for an automobile sales business in B2, general business. So this is a conditional use. So I'll start with staff.
Yep, looks like you got most of that. Conditional use application for automobile sales and rental business in the B2 General Business Zoning District. The applicant is requesting a conditional use for a used car lot on 1.02 acre parcel. The proposal includes repurposing the existing 1,520 square foot former KC Lounge building and parking lot. The proposed used lot will include 24 parking spaces for vehicle display and utilize the existing principal structure as the administrative office. The 7 remaining parking spaces will be reserved for employee and customer parking. The adjacent auto repair business currently parks vehicles in these spaces, and they will need to park their vehicles elsewhere in order for this property to remain in compliance with the parking requirements. Of note, this case was brought before Planning Commission in May of 2023 and denied. The applicant has outlined how this new application addresses the previous concerns of the commission. And additionally, the site has not been cited for a code violation for the past year. A neighborhood meeting was held on February 1st, 2024. 4 people attended, and you received a summary of that in your report. Here is the aerial map showing, oops, sorry. That went all the way to the end, didn't it? Yep. This is the zoning map.
Because it doesn't meet the,
And these are the site photos of the property, front of the subject site. The adjacent property across the airway, which is also a car lot. Property to the east. Adjacent property to the west. And the proposed area for the vehicle display. Another view of that. And the proposed customer and employee parking. And the rear of the property. Another nearby car lot. And another nearby car lot. Staff finds that the conditional use application is adequately justified and meets the standards for approval. Staff recommends approval with conditions of the conditional use application for the following reasons listed there. She did state, Naya did notify me that on the recommended conditions, with there being at least 7 parking spaces available for customers and employees, I believe you found the recommended conditions listed, that there was an additional one of the grass area behind shall remain undisturbed and the lot shall not be used for junk or salvage yard. So that was the other condition in line with the 6 already proposed.
And I just want to clarity, grass area remains.
Grass area shall remain undisturbed, and the lot shall not be used for a junk or as a salvage yard.
It's this area right here.
It's the behind the property.
Yeah, it backs up to the residential area.
Yeah.
What are you guys saying up there? I can't hear what you're saying.
The area she's talking about, the condition that Ms. Holt added is about the green space.
And that photo behind the property right there?
Yes.
behind the property. My
Yeah.
house is right behind it.
Right.
So you have where the building is, okay, and then you have this section here, because
That's the area to the right.
quite a while ago, that was all combined as one lot. And that's the area that has to remain as green space with no junk cars or
Right.
any kind of debris or anything left there, just as a green space is what we're saying. If this would be approved, that would be one of the conditions. Just to help keep that buffer for the neighborhood behind is the idea behind that.
All right. These are the staff findings, and these are your required actions for the conditional use application. You can approve the application as initially presented, approve with conditions, which is staff's recommendation, deny the application, or table the case to a date certain. She's gonna want that.
All right. All right, we've heard from Yes, any questions for staff? Do you want to go ahead and ask it?
I have a question for staff. In the original package, it mentions the conditional use application for automobile sales. However, here it says automobile sales and rental.
That would be.
And that's very different.
Yes.
Yeah,
We could ask that one.
might want to ask the applicant.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for staff? All right, is the applicant here? Hi there.
Hello.
If you'll state your name, your address, and read the oath, please.
I, Beni Mambai, address is 4766 Airway Road, Dayton, Ohio. I, Beni Mambai, affirm that the testimony I'm about to give before the Planning Commission is correct to the best of my knowledge.
Okay. Anything you'd like to present or say first?
No, not right now.
Okay. So I think the question at hand right now, commission has so far, is you're only asking for automobile sales, not rentals.
No, both.
You are asking for
Yes.
both. Okay.
If that is a problem, we can be open to either, just car lot sales.
Are you saying sales and leasing or renting?
Rental.
Go ahead, bring it to me.
Okay, so you are proposing with this, let me get to the original application. Check car lot, lot was visually painted, parking, da-da-da. Because my question.
Sales.
It just says sales and everything that I see too. That's all I remember reading as well earlier. Because I'm not sure if that changes the conditional use. Law Director?
Yes,
Help.
so if there's, everything I'm seeing is for a sales use, of course, without the benefit of Ms. Holt to determine what she's investigated in terms of that I believe that's the specific criteria criteria that were used in her investigation and determination in making the recommendations to commission for the conditions was for a sales use. Sales and rental or sales and leasing would potentially add a different analysis on behalf of city staff. And unfortunately, with her not here to provide input, it may be difficult if the request is for something different than what has been analyzed by staff. There may be a different recommendation to the commission.
Right.
Who
So-
did this presentation now?
Huh?
Who put the presentation together?
Naya,
Because, I mean, it says rental in there.
right.
But on the
Does, but-
official documents and everything from the applicant, nothing mentions rental. So that's my concern, my concern is with it being a conditional use, is there a difference in that language? Because you can only have one conditional use. Isn't that correct, Law Director?
That's correct. So it makes a difference how the use would be granted by the commission. Those are different uses.
Okay.
Would it be possible to recess for a few minutes and contact this one?
Yes, if the commission would like to take a recess from the public hearing and discuss with council or discuss amongst themselves, that's permissive.
Okay. Motion for that?
You do, just a
Me?
regular motion.
Okay. All right. So you are saying that you want, your ask of us is to approve for sales and rental,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, but if that's going to be a problem for tonight, we can proceed the conditional use for the car sales, for auto sales. But yes, I mean, we would like it to have the auto sales and rental.
Okay, because my concern is, let's say we go, and this is just me voicing a concern for you to make sure that you're being able to present what you want, is that automobile sales is one thing, we could do that, but I can't guarantee you without having Naya really here or contacting her, if you could even apply later for a rental, or if those two things can be granted as a condition, one conditional use. You see what I'm saying? That's my concern.
Would it be smart for us to table this one?
We could go ahead and
think
hear
about.
public,
Table,
we
yeah.
can go ahead and hear the public hearing and do that, based on the information we have, and then we could, it's not table. Continue this to our next meeting. Sorry, I was grasping for a word. So, but we could continue it till our next meeting, when Ms. Holt hopefully can be here, or at least we can make sure that we're getting all the information so that you can have the opportunity to apply for what you want. That's my concern. I'm trying to make sure we're doing and listening to what you truly are asking for. Does that make sense? Is this your a representative?
This is my attorney, yes.
Okay, so do you yes, if you would take the oath and tell us who you are, and,
Hi, my name's Ghassan Deek. I'm counsel for the applicant. Ghassan Deek affirmed that the testimony I am about to give before the Planning Commission is correct to the best of my knowledge.
okay,
I was looking at the original application that we filed, but we did file additional information with Naya in the revised application that she received that included the automobile and automobile rental, automobile sales and rental. I think I want to explain to Mr. Ambai is that what they're trying to say is that if you have both, it may this not be approved because the language of the code states that it's for automobile sales as a conditional use. So, but there's a risk and a benefit because the sales is a conditioned use, but sales and rental could be, together conditioned, or we would maybe have to table that rental and conditional. So the decision as to how you want to proceed, I think, is one, either we wait until we can determine whether those can be aligned,
ask the law
and
director.
or take the automobile sales of risk in the rental in the future. I just wanted to make sure he understood. kind of
right,
the code and all that. I do
I'm
see
just
that.
trying to make sure that we do this correctly.
Absolutely, and I saw that the code does have automobile sales as a conditioned use, I can't tell you if an additional wrinkle to that would alter the nature of the business.
Right,
as
and
well.
that's what I'm concerned about, is that rental may be listed as a conditional use, but in a conditional use, it is my understanding, you can only have one, you can't have more than one conditional use. So one conditional use, I believe, would be sales, and then one conditional use would be rental. Am I interpreting that correct, Law Director?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so that's my concern. And I just want to make sure we're doing this right. So I think maybe the best thing to do is we have a couple people who'd like to speak, is to allow them to speak, go through with our public hearing, and then maybe we continue it if that's acceptable, unless you're going to drop the whole rental altogether.
Explain the risk is that if you drop the rental, that may not be.
And if they
permitted in
wanted
the
to hear
future.
the testimony from the other people first. You
Yeah,
don't
I
have
mean,
to
we
make a
can hear the
decision right this
testimony and
second.
see what their thoughts are, and then you can let us know if we will proceed as it's, and the reason I say presented here is because, as we know, in a PowerPoint, it could be a cut and paste job versus this is our official legal document, as you will know. So, and this is what I go by, not so much this,
All right,
okay?
okay.
Does that make sense? Okay. Thank you for understanding. 15 years does pay off. Okay, so, Mr. Deek was the applicant, correct? Or you were Mr. Deek? Okay, all right. But you were, okay. So we already did that one. Okay, so the next person that would like to speak on this case is Mr. Domasek.
I'm Brett Domasek. The subject property, which is not my home address, but 103 Meyer Avenue is the property that brings me here. I, Brett Domasek, affirm that the testimony I'm about to give before the Planning Commission is correct to the best of my knowledge. Having an opportunity to attend the neighborhood meeting that was held at the Belmont Library, it was a favorable meeting, and I think had an opportunity to meet the owner or the prospective owner. He is the owner of the property. And given some opportunity, you know my stance. I spoke at the last meeting. You heard how I felt about that. I don't, I'm a little bit concerned about the number of car dealerships that we have all along Airway Road and Woodman Drive, let alone auto repair as well in that same area. There's just an overabundance of them. But having talked with Benny and his attorney, I heard what he had to say. I think I thought the additional rental possibility may be a different aspect for him, and that, he brought that up and said that was another aspect that he had considered adding to the sales part of it. I don't know of any automobile rental situations or companies or businesses or entities in Riverside that I know of, so if he's able to put out decent rental vehicles, I think that would be a plus for Riverside. It's something that we don't have. I chair the Chamber of Commerce, and I know that from a perspective that we have no membership from a rental car situation. So if he has upscale vehicles that he's selling, which is what the discussion was brought out. Am I right, Benny? I'm in favor of that. If he can sell nice, clean cars without, the cars leaking oil and looking trash and everything else, and if you're not parking cars back in that green space, which, again, that's already been determined, it tended to sway my feelings towards him, besides the fact that he's taking, a pretty disgusting building, I think, that as it was, for those that had to live behind this property.
Plus light the area up.
Yeah, yeah. And I think from a safety standpoint, that would be good too, having the lighting. But irregardless, there won't be bodies and a lot of people around that parcel of property at night, which I'm sure makes the neighborhood a little bit quieter. And I think it's a benefit from that perspective. But I give him a lot of credit for taking on this commercial property with what I consider to be a rather limited use factor zoning-wise that he has to put, what he can put in there. And I think that if this is what it takes to get it done, and again, he can put upscale vehicles in there to sell, which I think we would need to do as well if he's going to do this. I have no real feelings about the rental side of it other than what I spoke of. But I think that, again, his attempt to spend the money and try to make that lot a lot nicer, which I think it is already, it's just sitting idle. And I would be, as a businessman, I would be in a panic if I had a piece of real estate that I can't do anything with, renting-wise, leasing-wise, or anything else, to where I have no income coming off that property. Right now, you do not, do you? He has no income from that property. So I think he has the right, or should have the right, to be able to conduct business, and as long as he's doing it in a proper manner, according to the way you designed on your zoning board, I would see that should be the case. But that's my feeling about it after having a chance to meet with him in the neighborhood meeting. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't have anyone else that would like to speak.
Would you get on the mic?
Yes, please.
I was just reading the language of 1107, the zoning districts and the conditional use. It looks like under number 4B, it says automobile and motorcycle sales, rental, and service. So I would interpret that as being combined into one, sales, rental, and service. I don't know if you see otherwise.
Sure. If I can respond, thank you. So, right, so I think this speaks to, if I may, this speaks to the chair's question about the application.
Mhm.
I understand the code permits different types of conditional uses. The staff report, which would be the document that would be based on any kind of appeal for an adverse decision, either, or any adverse party would appeal this to the Board of Zoning Appeals, is going to be basing their appeal off the staff report. The staff report speaks to the conditional use aspect of an automobile sales business within the B2 General Business District, that is an approved conditional use, an auto sales business. I think what the chair was trying to explain to your client is that, and Ms. Holt will be able to more eloquently explain the process, but it's not to say that a conditional use for a leasing or a rental service, or for motorcycles for that matter, would not be permitted, but the application before the commission in terms of how it's styled in the official staff report is for an automobile sales conditional use, which would be a discrete and separate conditional use.
Understood.
And I think the commission's concern is there may be no guarantee, without some more input from Ms. Holt, as to how to guide an applicant, what would be the steps to follow to apply for a conditional use for a rental or a leasing component.
May I ask if there is the possibility of maybe, if a favorable decision is upcoming for at least one, to table the latter? Or would it have to be a separate matter and as a whole? Can we divide the matter for purposes of today?
So I would advise the commission, the application before it is for the automobile sales use.
Mhm.
The commission's options could be to consider that particular conditional use, and to consider any further applications for conditional uses for leasing, et cetera, if those are submitted to city staff. The commission would be able to hear all the testimony, it sounds like it's concluded, and then table a decision until Ms. Holt could be here to answer questions of you and the applicant, table the whole matter. I think that would be the choice of the commission.
Well, and if I may, if we would go ahead and vote on this, it would also cost your client more money because he'd have to submit another application, pay more fees to have another public hearing.
I guess that was a question. Number one, can you divide the issues? And then number two, can you divide them without a subsequent submission.
No.
I'll advise, I'm trying to talk about procedure to you, but
Yeah, yeah.
advise the client being the commission. So from a procedural and legal standpoint, the whole matter, I mean, I can only advise you right now on what's been presented in the staff report,
Right.
which is the sales use. So the matter could be tabled to the next commission meeting. Ms. Holt could discuss with the applicant and his counsel with respect to these other ancillary uses and provide some more clarity. I can only advise you tonight on what is before me, which is a conditional use for an automobile sales use. So tabling the whole matter until the next meeting to get more input and more clarity from city staff appears to be a prudent choice to complies with the commission's responsibilities, but also is respectful to the applicant's fees and et cetera.
I would like to add, this property has been vacant for several years now. I think any further delay, just as it's been a long time, he even applied in May of last year as well. If there is a favorable decision coming, I think the applicant would want to just table the rental and just withdraw that request. And the applicant can confirm if that's the case as well.
So you're willing to take the rental off of it just for us to consider the sales? And you understand you would be taking a risk that it may not be able to be added at all based on our code. We're not 100% sure without a little more research and conversation with Ms. Holt.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
No, I'll just grab my paper.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'll get everything that's presented.
Okay. Thank you very much for that discussion. I appreciate all parties involved there. And we just lost everything.
I think Katie.
Was that you, Katie, or are we still?
Trying to get- Why it's not coming back?
Are we still
We're
broadcasting?
still broadcasting.
Okay,
We just can't
that's
see
all that
anything.
matters right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't have anyone else that signed up to speak.
Well,
So,
I mean, I didn't know you had to sign up, so I mean.
yeah, you have to fill out one of the half pages in the back. If you'd like to do that and pass it to the clerk, you're welcome to do that.
I don't know what I'm speaking, I can say what's on my mind.
There we go. I got it. It just took a moment.
No problem. All right.
Sorry about this.
But you're fine.
So one of the commissioners asked about the recommended conditions. The conditions are there shall be at least 7 parking spaces available for customers and employees of the used car lot during regular business hours per section. I won't go into those. The conditional use shall be in accordance with the approval site plan, all applicable sections of the Unified Development Code, and agreed upon conditions of approval. Very standard with all of our approvals. Certificate of zoning compliance must be obtained from the City of Riverside Community Development Department, a certificate of occupancy from Montgomery County Building, and the landscaping and screening shall be installed according to the approval plan with 3 months of attaining a certificate of occupancy. And then the one that was added by Ms. Holt, as the clerk stated, about keeping that area back there in the back as green space with no storage of junk cars or parts or any of that. It just remains green space. So those would be the conditions that are recommended at this time, Commissioner. Okay, so before we go any further with Commissioner comments, I'm going to move on to our next resident,
Al
Al
Vansel.
Vansel. Thank you. Sir, if you'd like to step to the podium, state your name, your address, and then please read the oath.
My name is Al Vansel. I live at 4821 Conway Road. I affirm that the testimony I'm about to give before the Planning Commission is correct to the best of my knowledge. So I guess my concern is I agree that there needs to be something done with that lot there. The fence is in horrific shape. It's fallen down. I've talked to the gentleman a couple times about how nice the lot looks now that he's put money into place. And before, all we had was clubs and bars. We had Riverside Police there 5 and 6 times a night. I live right behind it. So I don't know why we would not have a used car lot with him putting up nice spots, lights outside, the new fence, and making the place look right. And I don't agree with some of it, but used car lots feed off of used car lots. We got enough car lots. Nobody's just going to go out of their way to go one car lot. If they come near to his, they got one next door, a couple more down the street. So it's just going to bring more people to consume or buy off of us in Riverside. I mean, you know, there's more than one car lot now. So, I mean, it just makes more sense to me than another bar. I mean, Casey Lounge, it's nothing but trouble. You got a repair shop right next door to help him repair his car. That's more money for the city, isn't it? I mean, it just makes sense to me. Instead of wasting Riverside police time to come up here to the bars all the time. Makes no sense to me.
Okay, thank you. All right. Any other questions for our staff or for our applicant, commissioners?
Just unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah. Okay, so I will close the public hearing. And commissioners, discussion, comments, or any motions at this time that you would like to make or conversation you'd like to have about PC 24-0002.
I just want to confirm that we are doing it strictly for sales.
Strictly for sales, just as it's stated in the request on the document
Gotcha.
presented. Correct? Okay. All right. Anything else? What say you? Anybody have a motion?
I make a motion to approve with conditions, PC case 24002, conditional use of 4766 Airway Road, parcel ID I390012300028.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve PC case 24-0002 with the conditions that have been listed in the report and adding the condition regarding the green space, that it has to remain green space. Okay? Is there any further discussion among commissioners? Seeing none, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Mr. Hairston?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mrs. Denning?
Yes.
Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
The motion passes. Please get with Ms. Holt when she returns from her illness, and she'll walk you through the next steps and also make sure the conditional, the conditions are met, please. Thank you, guys. Okay, that ends our public hearings. And now we'll go on to matters by commissioners. Mr. Rogers?
Nothing.
Mr. Vasquez?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Mr. Hairston?
Nothing.
Mr. Owens?
Nothing.
Law Director, anything for us?
No, thank you. It's just nice to see everyone again. It's been a while, so thank you.
December, January, February.
Well, it's been a while because Dama was with us
Yeah.
for a while.
Yes, yes.
Well, welcome back. We appreciate you, appreciate your help tonight.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I almost called you Your Honor a few times. So when you said clerk of court and continuance, I go from one vote to
Well.
commission vote, so motions. So.
You need a robe.
I need a robe. I have one at home. My gown. Anyways, Madam Clerk?
I've got nothing.
Do we need to announce that the work session's not going to take place?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you taking us through the work session?
Oh, no. The work session will be done by Ms. Holt when she returns and at your next meeting.
Okay, so for the record, the work session that was scheduled for tonight will be postponed to the next meeting. Also, as far as comments by me, I'd like to inform you all that I had another great-grandson born. He is just, he's about 5 weeks old now. Please keep him in your prayers. He'll be having surgery tomorrow. He had a little, some issues. He was born 30 days early. And like to remind you that March 21st is World Down Syndrome Day. And would like everybody to remember that Down syndrome is a diagnosis and not necessarily a disability. And it's just merely an extra chromosome. So, my little one was diagnosed with that, and but he is doing really well. So we are very much advocates of that. So keep that in mind as we go forward. It's a special day in our hearts, and help keep the awareness that they're still human beings just like us. Just a little bit more to love. So, all right. I want to thank all the commissioners for supporting me being chairman again. I really do enjoy it. And I appreciate your confidence in allowing me to continue. And I welcome Mr. Rogers.
Thank
It's
you.
been a long time coming.
Yeah. I did it maybe 15 or 16 years ago.
Yeah, I thought you were when I first got on. So that, it's awesome. And with that, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the February 21st, 2024 Planning Commission meeting of the City of Riverside at 7:28, looks like.
Yep.
If there's no discussion, I'll say all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those oppose, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned at 7:28. Thank y'all.
How many comments?
2,